Deep beneath the sands of Saudi Arabia lies the single most important oil field in human history. Spanning over 280 kilometers in length and averaging 30 kilometers in width, the Ghawar Oil Field is not just the largest conventional oil field in the world, it is the foundation upon which Saudi Arabia built its economic empire. Discovered in 1948 and brought into production in 1951, Ghawar has produced an estimated 75 billion barrels of oil since its inception. Even today, it holds an estimated 58 billion barrels of recoverable reserves. At its peak, the field alone accounted for nearly 7% of the world's daily crude oil output. For decades, Ghawar has fueled global energy markets, shaped geopolitics, and solidified the kingdom's position as an energy superpower. But as oil markets evolve and reserves decline, the question remains, how much longer can Ghawar sustain Saudi Arabia's dominance? The story of Ghawar begins in the 1930s, when Standard Oil of California, later known as Chevron, was granted a concession by King Abdulaziz. At the time, Saudi Arabia was a poor desert kingdom with little infrastructure or global influence. Oil exploration in the region initially yielded mixed results, but in 1948 everything changed. American geologists working for Aramco, then the Arabian American Oil Company, struck a massive oil deposit in eastern Saudi Arabia. It was named Ghawar, and by 1951 production was in full swing. At its peak, Ghawar produced over 5 million barrels of oil per day, more than the entire output of some OPEC nations. This single field provided over half of Saudi Arabia's total oil production for decades. The revenues transformed the country, funding its rapid modernization, infrastructure development, and the rise of the House of Saud as a geopolitical force. The discovery of Ghawar and the broader Saudi oil wealth played a critical role in cementing the alliance between Saudi Arabia and the United States. In 1945, King Abdulaziz met with U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt aboard the USS Quincy, marking the beginning of a strategic partnership. The deal was simple. Saudi Arabia would supply oil to the United States and its allies, while the United States would provide military protection and economic cooperation. This relationship only deepened in the following decades. During the Cold War, the U.S. relied on Saudi oil to keep Western economies running, while also countering Soviet influence in the Middle East. By the 1970s, Saudi Arabia had become the linchpin of U.S. energy security. Washington ensured the kingdom's stability, backing it militarily and diplomatically, while Riyadh guaranteed a steady flow of crude oil to world markets. But Ghawar is not just a Saudi asset. It is a pillar of the global economy. The field played a critical role in the 1973 oil crisis, when Saudi Arabia and OPEC nations imposed an embargo in response to Western support for Israel. Oil prices quadrupled, exposing the world's dependence on Middle Eastern crude. In the decades that followed, Ghawar ensured Saudi Arabia's dominance within OPEC, allowing the kingdom to dictate oil production levels and stabilize global markets. But no oil field lasts forever. In 2019, when Saudi Aramco prepared for its IPO, it was revealed that Ghawar's maximum production capacity had dropped to 3.8 million barrels per day, a significant decline from its peak. The revelation sent shockwaves through the oil industry, as it indicated that the field was maturing faster than previously thought. The challenge for Saudi Arabia is clear. Ghawar has been the backbone of its oil production, and while the kingdom still possesses vast reserves elsewhere, no single field can replace Ghawar's output. The Saudi government has invested billions into enhanced oil recovery techniques, such as water injection, to sustain production levels. But these measures can only delay the inevitable. As the world moves deeper into the digital age, energy production is not just about fueling cars or heating homes. The rise of artificial intelligence has created unprecedented electricity demands, straining global energy infrastructure. AI-driven industries, from data processing to machine learning, require massive computational power. And that power comes with an insatiable hunger for energy. Saudi Arabia, with its vast oil and gas resources, remains critical in meeting these energy demands. Even as renewable energy grows, oil and natural gas still remain essential for electricity generation and industrial production. Data centers, many of which are powered by fossil fuels, are now among the largest consumers of energy worldwide. The decline of Ghawar raises urgent concerns. Can Saudi Arabia continue to meet the world's evolving energy needs? And if not, where will that energy come from? The decline of Ghawar has major implications. First, it challenges Saudi Arabia's ability to act as the world's swing producer, the nation that can quickly adjust output to stabilize global markets. If Ghawar continues to decline, Saudi Arabia may lose some of its influence over OPEC and global oil prices. Second, it raises concerns about global energy security. While the world is transitioning to renewable energy, oil still powers much of the global economy. If Saudi production declines faster than anticipated, it could trigger price shocks and geopolitical instability, particularly in energy-dependent nations like China and India. And finally, it forces Saudi Arabia to rethink its economic future. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 initiative aims to diversify the economy, investing in technology, tourism, and alternative energy. But the success of this strategy depends on oil revenue. If Ghawar's decline accelerates, the kingdom may face economic challenges far sooner than expected. For over 70 years, Ghawar has been the beating heart of Saudi Arabia's oil empire. It has funded the country's rise to power, influenced global markets, and shaped the modern world. But nothing lasts forever. As reserves dwindle and the energy landscape shifts, Saudi Arabia must prepare for a future beyond Ghawar. Whether it succeeds will determine not just the fate of the kingdom, but the stability of the global energy market for decades to come. Thank you for watching the Resource Report. If you found this analysis insightful, consider subscribing for more in-depth looks at the world's most important resources and the geopolitics that shape them. See you next time.